The oldest temples on Earth were never built from stone. They were built from structure, not physical columns, not carved portals, not quarried precision, but the formative layer that gives rise to the physical dimension itself. In the primordial cycles of consciousness, what many call the heavens were not distant mythology, but perceptual regions directly sensed by the early human organism. This formative region is what esoteric science names the etheric layer, not luminous fantasy, but architecture without mass, geometry without decay, and structure without individual ego authorship. In these early epochs, consciousness did not observe itself alone. It participated in collective formativity. The human prototype of the time could see into layers where kingdoms overlapped, where the boundary between thought, nature, architecture, and being was not yet sealed. Temples existed as collective structure of formative resonance. They were not worshipped, they were participated in, built inwardly by shared perceptual law, not outwardly by hands. This is the key to the ancient mystery modern archaeology cannot solve. The precision didn't begin in the stone, it began in the vision. Later builders of the megalithic sites carried the memory, but not the site. That's why pyramids, megaliths, ziggurats, and monolithic temples were carved with impossible accuracy despite the absence of machinery. The workers weren't superhuman. The memory was. The priests could still glimpse the etheric prototypes above them like atmospheric templates that inspired effort, discipline, labor, and communal devotion toward form. The construction was not technological, it was nostalgic, metaphysical imitation, and memory trying to become physical. This precision was not a mystery. The loss of inner sight is the mystery. Humanity slowly descended from collective etheric vision into isolated, sensation based material consciousness. Spiritual inheritance slowly externalized into architecture of hands, tools, sweat, stone, and empire. Temples became objects instead of conduits. What did these etheric temples express? Order, polarity, geometry, resonant formativity, no division of form, no war banners, no gold neon illusions, no influencer shock value. They were the originals, not the copy. The temple came first. The stones came last. The warning is implicit. Civilizations collapse when they forget their foundations were supra-physical. The temple survives as stone only after sight is lost. Stones replace spirit at the end of an age, but copies collapse faster than the originals fade. Now, these etheric temples were built during the Lemurian Root Race and up into the middle stages of the Atlantean Root Race. But as time went by, from the Lemurians to the Atlanteans, mankind was slowly but surely losing those higher clairvoyant capabilities. And remember, too, during those ages, a long time ago, The physics on Earth were different. The physics on Earth were more etheric. Hard substances were malleable. The energy ley lines were more accessible. Mankind was a different animal because it was a creature of its environment, and that environment was mostly etheric. So therefore, mankind too was more etheric. So remember, the Lemurians and the Atlanteans were basically a different animal than we are today. We have none of those higher capabilities. We can just look and say, hey, how did they do it? I don't know. How did they do it? So everybody's left guessing. Well, I just told you how they did it. Mankind was more etheric. The planet was more etheric. And the veil between us and the higher realms was very thin, and it was accessible, and they could see into it. So those etheric temples are the original blueprints. And later, the people that were working with granite and other stones, they were trying their hardest to recreate what their ancestors had. And they did a very, very good job too, because they're built with geometrical precision. But they had to use stone because that's all they had. That's all the capability that they had left. No more etheric wonders.